was pregnant with Libby. Obviously we was over the moon, although it wasn't planned. We were really happy and we knew that it was what we'd wanted for a long time. They booked me in for the caesarean at 38 weeks, so that was the 26th of April 2013. Rich came with me for the caesarean, was there all the way through it. And look, Libby was born and was shown to us. The first thing she did as they took her out was cried, so we thought, obviously, that's the first thing you're told to listen for as a healthy baby, is the cry. So we heard her cry, at which point we both cried, and then she was took away from us.
As soon as she was born, they knew that something was not right. So she was supported with her breathing. So she was on a breathing machine or a ventilator, as that's what we call. And she needed quite a lot of medications to help support her blood pressure and other functions at the time. So she was very sick to start off with.
So obviously, first thing I wanted to do was go and see her. They wheeled me into the neonatal unit to see her, and it wasn't until that point that we realised that she was very poorly. She was in an incubator hooked up to all sorts of wires and tubes, and she didn't look in a good state at all.
It was touch and go, wasn't it, with her through the night, and obviously we were just devastated that, you know, it was that we had set ourselves up. We'd been so happy, but until that point we hadn't really known how serious the condition Libby was in.
It was day 5 that I first got to hold her. The nurses got her out of the incubator. Obviously she was still all tubed and wired up, but I did get to hold her there.
So we scanned her heart, and that's when I made the diagnosis of a complex congenital heart disease. So once we had the diagnosis, because we knew why she was poorly, we could then slowly wean off all the other support that she required. And then when she was 7 days old, if I'm not mistaken, she was transferred to the pediatric intensive care at Birmingham Children's Hospital for ongoing cardiac assessments and to be seen by the cardiac surgeons.
She had to go for an exploratory operation, so they called it, and they told us to leave the hospital because it would take probably about 4 to 6 hours. So we returned to the hospital after about 5 hours, wasn't it? And she wasn't back yet, but we were told that she was on her way back from theatre. And then we were called into the room by the cardiac liaison nurse and the surgeon, and were told that what they'd found whilst doing this exploratory operation was that the vein that connects the left heart to the lung, which is called a pulmonary vein, unfortunately hadn't formed. So they told us the devastating news that there was nothing they could do to save her. Obviously we spent the night with her and got as many cuddles as we could, and well, we didn't put her down, to be honest, did we?
I hadn't held her until that point. I'm really nervous with young babies, and I was nervous about picking and knocking a wire, and I hadn't had the confidence, and I was a new dad, but until that point, and then it was like, get me in there now, I need to hold her.
After being told, then the next morning they had the meeting and we were told, no, unfortunately, there is nothing we can do. We were taken into a private room then with Libby and with our family, and right until the end we was just obviously you hold out hope. And when the doctor said to us that he was taking her off the ventilator, he said to us at that point, she could last minutes, she could last seconds, but I'm really not expecting her to last long at all. So in our minds then, we was expecting it to be seconds.
Yeah, would you expect it
so
last breath? You'll see her take her last breath. She'll take her last gasp, and then she'll pass away. Basically, what he said, wasn't it? And we just couldn't. Well, to cut a long story short, she was with us for 40 minutes, wasn't she? Yeah. After, and she didn't want to let Mummy and Daddy go.
We did have great support from family and friends, which helped us greatly. For the funeral, we decided that we didn't want flowers other than from close family. So we decided to ask for donations at the funeral, and just couldn't believe how generous people were, could we? We had £2,000 in donations on the day, and we were discussing like how generous people had been, the donations, what a difference it could make, what we could do for the hospital. At first we said we wanted to buy some comfortable chairs for parents to sit on, but we was discussing it, wasn't we, and we said, well, we think we could do more than just buy a few chairs. Let's see if we can raise enough money and become a charity. And that's what we did.
Well, yeah.
So we became a registered charity on the 26th of July 2013, which to anybody else who has become a registered charity or is trying to become a registered charity can't believe how quick we got our charity status. So the first big support came from Legal & General.
In my workplace, yeah.
Didn't it? So they helped us along the way, and then because we were then a registered charity, we was able to apply to supermarkets, do bucket collections. We were attending carnivals, summer fairs, just in the local area.
We've just done literally anything you could think of. We wanted to get out there and let everybody know about the amazing work we're trying to do and give back, and at the end of the day, and help save babies' lives across the Midlands, which is what we're all about.
I think they are very lovely, lovable people. It's amazing the strength and the endurance they have had in the last 12 months, what they have been through and how they have channeled all their energy to do something as remarkable as this.
A lot of people in sports, they look at role models, probably look at myself and other players, and they look up to them and look to be like them. But I would like to say that we aren't the real role models. The real role models are Rich and Sharratt. I think if you were to be like them, then you would become a better person, and these are the people in life that you have to look up to.